Hello, I'm here with Caitlin to talk about eIDAS. But before that, there's some silly nonsense about what a third world war would mean for investors.
Right. So the economy, sorry, not the Economist has an article, let's see, written by, does this have a name attached to it? It does not. It says Buttonwood. Who wrote this article? It does not say. Anyway, but with everything going on in the Middle East and with Russia invading Ukraine, the question I'm sure on everyone's mind is, what investments should I be making right now in, the stock market, as well as, in other locations, as we descend into nuclear holocaust. So,
Radiation suits,
yeah,
iodine.
I was gonna say, one very popular investment opportunity right now is bunkers, radiation suits, and canned goods. Believe it or not, canned goods are going to be very hot in the upcoming apocalypse, as well as shotguns. What you really want to remember is that after the nukes come down and irradiate the land, we're going to have an overabundance of nuclear zombies. And so really keep that in mind as you're making investments moving forward.
I
And
heard zombies. I wasn't quite aware of this. What are nuclear zombies?
those are people that were exposed to the radiation during the nuclear holocaust who essentially developed, the taste for blood, and mutated into some grotesque figures that wander around mindlessly in the nuclear wasteland.
My medical information must be kind of out of date. I don't recall hearing about this.
Oh yes, it's actually very, very common and something you don't run into, and that's why it's such a great investment opportunity to invest in, shotguns, first aid supplies, that kind of stuff after the nuclear apocalypse, and even before. Really invest as early as possible. The last thing you want to do when you're running from your life, running for your life, when a army invades and starts dropping bombs all around you, the last thing you want on your mind, of course, is, am I making the right investments? And so, really start thinking about this early, and really make wise decisions. That's all I can say.
All right. It does remind me of a story that came out about a year ago about a guy who was a futurist, and they hired him to go talk to billionaires. And this is exactly what they wanted to talk about: is how to set up an island somewhere, a subterranean fortress where they can hide from the coming apocalypse, and how to keep their staff from turning on them after the world is destroyed.
That's very true. Another hot item that you should be looking into are technologies for suspended animation. As we wait for the nuclear radiation to decrease, so the outside can become livable again, a lot of people are going to choose to go into suspended animation for several thousand years. And this is a hot opportunity buy. Not only that, if you go into a suspended animation and you have just a standard savings account, if you put your money in a bank that won't be destroyed by the ravage of the zombie apocalypse that will descend upon us, you can actually turn that into quite a tidy profit as you emerge. Of course, you do have to think about things like inflation and stuff like that as you are scavenging through human remains, to find a morsel to eat. But those are just sort of the things you expect to deal with after the end of the world.
Well, it's good to keep our listeners prepared for these things.
Oh yes.
And so Microsoft has issued a Secure Future Initiative, which is considered, the head of Microsoft has issued this, Brad Smith. This is considered comparable to Bill Gates' 2001 Secure Computing Initiative, which really did indicate Microsoft saying, all right, we're tired of being a laughingstock of security, and we're going to improve. And they did improve a lot after that one. But now they seem to be, if not a laughingstock, showing a lot of really bad security problems. Azure Cloud got hacked twice in the last year, exposing government accounts. And there's the one where they took several terabytes of confidential data and just exposed it openly on their own cloud service. And well, I might have them confused with another one, but what they did was they had an incorrect setting of the authorization keys. So they exposed a whole lot of confidential data. So anyway, they've got a new plan And the new plan is to use AI to make everything secure. That's their main thing. They're going to add AI to their software development process. They're thus making their software more secure, supposedly. And they're going to try to respond to cloud vulnerabilities more quickly than their current 90-day time. And improve defaults, they say, and so on. So anyway, we'll see what comes of all this. But the last one did really represent a big change in Microsoft's posture. I'm not so sure about this one, especially the AI part, which we'll get more to later, I think. But anyway, let's go back to you with California Home for sale for only $1 million.
Actually, no, it's going to be selling for 1.55 million to show you just how good the market is right now. So this is an article. Let me see if I can show you the browser here. So this is a luxury California home going for only 1.55 million. And it has not only like a swimming pool, several bathrooms, several bedrooms. It even has its own meth lab and meth contamination, only for 1.55 million, which is a steal. So what happened is that there's this 6-bedroom home, 6-bedroom, okay, 1.55 million. And it's going on the listing right now for only 1.5. Like I said, only for 1.5 million. It has a swimming pool. It has at least six or 7 bathrooms, depending how you look at it. It's in a quiet residential area. And it has a great meth kitchen and meth lab built right in. The previous owner, unfortunately, had to move after he was arrested in March for basically attacking the transformer electricity, the electricity grid transformers. Essentially, he blew it up and got caught for that. So there's a great steal in this house, and it just goes to show you that not everywhere in California is living unaffordable.
I understand after you contaminate a place with meth, it's really hard to clean it up.
Oh, it's actually still contaminated. So as the article points out, that the home, it says, I'll pull the quote here. The home has not been cleared of contamination and will be transferred to the new buyer. So you actually get meth with the new home.
So there's fixer-uppers and there's burner-downers.
Why would you burn something like that down?
I'm not sure you can effectively clean it, but I've heard it's hard to clean. I'm not sure. Anyway,
I don't know why you'd want to, but
yeah,
maybe there are people out there that don't like swimming pools. They take them out. I mean,
yeah, that's right. Well, all right. Anyway, so Brian Krebs has posted an article, a Russian reshipping service called SWAT USA Drop got hacked. And so you get a look inside this reshipping service, which is we've known about for years, but you never had all these details. So 1,200 Americans were employed by this, receiving things and reshipping them, which is how you make money from stolen credit cards. And they say typically when they steal a credit card, they spend about $1,200 buying stuff. They can't ship it to Eastern Europe anymore because Amazon and everybody has figured out they're crooks and they refuse to ship to those locations. So they ship to an American location, and that person then re-forwards it on to a location in Eastern Europe or wherever they want to be. And they say the end result is the original crook gets $700 of that 1,000 or $1,200 they take from each customer, and the rest is paid for the middleman and other services. And so they talk about, they're called drops for stuff. And I remember this used to be advertised on campus. They used to have all these things everywhere saying you can make $1,000 a week working from home and pull off this paper. And what I was told is those were these, you did a money mule here. So anyway, they hacked them and showed the screenshots of it. So it's interesting to see what happens there. One thing I used, the Brian Krebs used to track down the related websites is something I did not know about. Public www.com is the source code search engine. So if you find a JavaScript file on one page, you can find the other pages that use that same JavaScript file, which is pretty handy. So anyway, let's go back to you with more Microsoft improving the world with AI.
Yes. So finally, Microsoft has replaced a bunch of their news staff with AI. And CNN Business has an article about the repercussions. So this is an article by Donnie O'Sullivan and Allison Gordon over at CNN. And essentially what happened is that Microsoft's MSN page, which is oftentimes people's homepage because they don't change it when they use like Edge and stuff. Write articles based on what it sees, elsewhere in the internet using AI instead of people. And so some of the articles that came out from AI include things like Joe Biden falling asleep during a moment of silence, which never happened. Something about a COVID-19 virus being orchestrated by the Democratic Party. We just got demonetized just by me saying that. Let's see, there was one here about an obituary for an NBA player that describes the player as useless. And let's see, and there's other ones too. There's one where this woman was murdered due to misogyny, and let me see if I can find it in here. Murder. Oh, there we go. They ask a poll. The AI generated a poll. What do you think is the reason behind the woman's death? And it listed murder, accident, or suicide during a moment of national outrage against violence against women. I mean, the AI, this has been a complete disaster. Who would have thought? Who would have thought replacing your news staff with AI would not turn out very well?
Yeah, there's so many stories like this. This is why I tell people I wouldn't worry too much about your job being taken by AI. AI is a tool to use, but you really need humans supervising.
You do. You absolutely do. I love AI. I use it every day now for whatever reason, but I would not just trust the output. You use it to help generate some base thing that you work with. You don't just use it to replace you. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Ask it simplest question, you'll just get complete garbage for an answer.
Exactly.
Anyway, and I just saw this. There's a thing called eIDAS in Europe, and this is a European law that is liable to be approved by the end of this year. And in secrecy, without letting the public know, they added a little feature to it, which says all web browsers must include a special certificate so the government can man in the middle your HTTPS connections and spy on everything you do. And of course, there's an open letter from scientists and browser makers and tech companies saying, wait a minute, don't do that. That's a terrible idea, which it is. But once again, it looks like the crypto wars in Europe are running pretty hot. Britain just passed a law that may well force them to reveal encrypted communications. And this would just open everybody up to man in the middle by government agencies, unspecified. And who are they going to give that certificate to, and how many copies, and how long before it leaks? And it would like a really bad idea.
It would not take that long for it to leak, because you can view the certificate and you can see if it's changed from like, global protect to, Eurowatch or something.
Sure, but what I mean is, if they leak the private key, then anybody can man in the middle of you. But if you private key, a large number of random government agencies can intercept you, which is almost the same thing.
Right. Well, here's the thing: is that you can tell when they're intercepting you.
Right. You can.
So, it wouldn't even like work on a conceptual level unless you are a very dumb criminal, which they often are. So.
And it would be pretty easy to just go in your certificate list and delete those if you're a criminal.
Yeah, I was going to say they would have to make it really hard to delete those certificates.
Yeah. So it sounds like a really half-baked, foolish plan.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think that's it for this one. I'll have another one on Tuesday.